A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. I'm Ritwika Gupta. In today's episode, we spotlight two rapidly evolving sectors, health tech and digital advertising, and how exactly businesses are leveraging science, technology and agility to drive meaningful impact. In the first segment, I'll be in conversation with Saloni Anand, co-founder of Traya, who speaks to me about scaling with agility and purpose in a rapidly evolving D2C landscape. In the second segment, Amit Chaubey, head of marketing science at Snap Inc. APAC, decodes how the brand is creating new opportunities for MSMEs across emerging markets. Saloni, welcome to ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Likewise. And, I want to start with the big picture. How do you view the current health tech ecosystem here in India? What are the opportunities? And what was the key gap that you saw in the industry that led you to forming Traya?
Sure. I think there are lots of opportunities out there. I think with AI coming in, with the country moving to an online world, with digital getting so mainstream, whether it's a village in this country or cities, really brings opportunity for disruption, which means it's an opportunity for a nobody to build something in this industry. For us at Traya, the biggest opportunity gap was that the hair industry, if you look at the entire hair industry, it's mostly hair care. Right, the country is filled with brands that sell shampoos, conditioners, masks, none of which can actually grow your hair. So the hair care industry claims hair treatment, they claim hair fall, they claim hair growth, but none of it works. So for us, the biggest opportunity came from the gap that the industry itself looked at the problem from a very wrong lens. Traya looked at hair loss from a very science-first approach. We realized that hair loss or hair regrowth is more like a chronic health problem, like a diabetes. It requires a diagnosis, it requires a treatment where things will have to be eaten. We didn't worry whether the consumer will eat supplements or not, what their current belief systems is. We just focused on how can we really bring efficacy to the table, because end of the day, the consumer cares about growing the hair back.
No, absolutely. I love the way you summed it up. And if I'm not wrong, Traya is built on three sciences, right? Ayurveda, nutrition and dermatology. Can you elaborate on that?
Traya, the word Traya in Sanskrit means three, Trinity.
Right.
And that's the core of what we do here. We bring all the three sciences to holistically treat hair loss. The three sciences are actually very compatible and complementary to each other.
Sure.
So if you look at hair loss in allopathy, which is one of the science, there are just 2 to 3 molecules that mankind has invented that can actually help in hair loss. Most doctors prescribe these 2 to 3 molecules or some derivative of these molecules. These are, generic, available to us since the 80s. There's nothing beyond that. All these molecules work at a topical level, which means they are going to go at your root level and help control the attack of DHT, which is why hair loss happens. Sorry,
Sure.
Getting a bit scientific there. But they work at a follicle root level to help you get your hair back or control hair loss. Ayurveda, on the other hand, starts here. In fact, the Ayurveda scriptures say that hair loss is not a disease, it's a symptom, it's a communication your body is doing to you that something inside is wrong. So if you heal your gut, if you improve the absorption of your gut, if you balance your doshas, balance your hormones, if this nutrient level and this nourishment reaches your hair follicle, your hair loss should reverse. So it's happening inside, whereas allopathy is happening outside. And the third, which is one of the most important pillar, is food science. It also is a derivative of Ayurveda because Ayurveda is incomplete without food. They really give importance to using food as a medicine, and that's what we do here at Traya.
Now, you started off as a digital-first brand, and now you have also expanded your offline presence. So what prompted that decision, and how are you seeing the balance between online and offline?
You know, since day zero when we started Traya, we've been hearing this from our consumers that I want to show my head to someone. Hair loss is a high involvement but low belief category. It's very difficult to build trust. It's very difficult to tell people that hair regrowth is possible. So offline was inevitable, honestly. Traya started in the 2020 COVID Bharat Bandh. So it had to be online because we were forced to become online. And we had a tremendous journey in the digital piece. I think we were able to reach a 10 lakh customer base because we were online. It would have been impossible to do this in an offline approach, but we always knew that we'll have to someday enter offline to really cater to people who are not able to trust us in an online model. So that's how we see offline. It's basically helping us penetrate into people who don't trust an online health brand. How do I see as balancing both? I think what we are seeing is that a lot of people who are aware of the brand, they know they have hair loss, they know Traya, but they're not able to trust Traya. That trust deficit gets very well solved for when there is an offline layer there.
Nice. I also want to talk about Traya Women. I think that's a vertical that addresses hair loss for women due to, PCOS, postpartum, and even menopause, right? So, what are the insights that led you to form this vertical?
I think hair loss and hair fall in women as a gender is even larger a problem. All of us at some point in life go through it. It's even more complicated because apart from the issues that men face, gut, sleep, metabolism, nutrition, genetics, there's an additional complicated layer that comes here, which is hormones. And like you said, PCOS, postpartum, perimenopause, menopause, they are all hormonal roller coaster rides that force us as women to go through this problem, unfortunately.
Right.
So a very interesting vertical that we should have started before, but for some reason, men became our sort of, in the beginning, when engineers build a brand, this is what happens. I'm an engineer that turned to become a marketeer. You use data to work. So when we started Traya, men responded really well for us. So we did more of stuff that attracted more men. More men came in. And after a point, we became a men hair loss brand. And last year we took that step back and we said, why is it that women are not, coming to us? And we realized that, oh my God, we're two men, whether it's our brand, whether it's a content, whether it's the way we work. So we created Traya Women, and we have separate formulations here, separate clinical trials done on women hair loss. And very, very excited to see how this has grown in the last 1 year.
So tell me, when we talk about the D2C space, what are some of the trends that you think will have a significant impact, in the years to come?
A lot of things happening. One, I feel the country is moving online faster than we imagine. Even for Traya, if I speak, would like to share some data, 80% of Traya consumers are beyond the metro cities. That's very, very exciting because now a villager living in a village near Jaunpur in Uttar Pradesh also uses Traya. In terms of trends, I have to say that AI now is not a buzzword anymore. In the last 3 months within Traya, so much has changed due to AI adoption. I think that's going to be a very, very important factor in the next 1 year on how people, not just how brands sell and work, but also how people shop and their buying behavior. I think there's going to be a drastic change. Of course, we've seen quick commerce come in the last couple of years, which has changed the way we behave. But I think there's more to come.
Sure. Saloni, our theme for this season is Agility, Ambition, Ascent. Tell me, as a young brand, how are you navigating uncertainty while aiming big? And when I talk about uncertainty, I'm talking about what all that's happening around the world, geopolitical tensions, which is causing supply chain disruptions, and a lot more, like rising protectionism. So how are you bracing for these challenges?
I think I will dumb this down as much as I can. Plan for things as much as possible. In fact, I do this exercise of every 3 months I write down the 10 worst things that can happen to Traya. And then I see how can I mitigate those risks. Mm-hmm. For example, at one point I realized that Traya has 800 employees and all 800 come to the same office together in one office. What if there's fire? And all 800 people together living in one office. And from the moment I wrote down, we segregated, and now there are 3 offices with backups, etc. created.
Fantastic. And finally, as we are wrapping up this really wonderful conversation, tell me, what is your long-term vision for Traya?
The long-term vision is to help every guy, girl there facing hair loss with the efficacy that we have. We hope that people understand that hair loss is not just genetics, it is a choice. You have an option to manage it. We hope that Traya becomes a household name synonymous to the word hair loss.
Right.
We also hope that the beautiful philosophy of bringing the 3 sciences and using a holistic approach to treat hair loss, I hope that we are able to take this beyond hair loss as a problem. Whether I think a lot of other health issues that the young 30-year-old Indian today has started to face, which technically people should face when they're in their 60s.
Yeah.
Today people are getting all these chronic health issues, whether it's diabetes, cholesterol, thyroid, and so much more. I hope that Traya can go beyond hair loss and help people manage some of these health issues.
Is that something on the cards, going beyond the hair category?
Yes, we've done a lot of clinical research in some of these pieces.
Yeah.
We've held ourselves back, and the only reason is we want to be known for one thing that we do right, and put all our focus on hair loss. So it's for the last 5 years, all we do is hair loss. We've gone deep into this problem statement. We want to be known as the experts, as best in this, and then venture out into other health issues, rather than, spread thin and wide and do multiple things.
Fantastic. Well, all the very best to you, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. In this segment, my colleague Hrishita Kumar brings you a conversation with Amit Chaubey, Head of Marketing Science at Snap Inc. APAC, on how Snapchat is leveraging AI, attention metrics and localized strategies to stay ahead in India's dynamic internet economy. Listen in.
Hi Amit, thank you so much for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Hi Hrishita, great to be here, excited.
Now my first question for you is about the global and digital marketing space. It is expected to reach $786 billion by 2026. So what, according to you, are the key factors that is driving this exponential growth?
Hrishita, there are 3 big forces which are driving this. The first one is the generational change in consumer behavior. Gen Z, which is about 377 million now, is expected to have a consumer spending power of 2 trillion by 2035. And their expectations are changing as well. They are digitally native, they have spent a lot of time on mobile, and they're expecting content platforms to engage with them, to provide them ability to connect authentically and engage with immersive content. So that's the first trend that's driving this. The second trend that's driving this is the advancement in creative technologies. We are seeing that creative technologies are enabling advertisers to create not just ads, but immersive experiences, things like short form video, immersive full screen video, as well as augmented reality technologies. And the third thing that's driving this is, as all this changes, the advertiser expectation to be able to capture authentic engagement and attention-centric advertising. That's the third thing that's going to drive this. The attention study that we have done in India shows that most people pay very limited amounts of attention to advertising, but even marginal increases in that increases the effectiveness of outcomes for advertisers. So those are the three big shifts that are going to power the advertising ecosystem. And it's not just going to be about more spend, it's going to be more spend on more effective impressions.
Right, now you just mentioned the Attention Advantage report. So tell us something more about Snapchat Inc.'s The Attention Advantage report. How is it supposed to change the entire metrics of digital advertising?
If I were to summarize it in 3 points, the 3 big points that come out from the report, the first one was attention matters a lot. It's not a vanity metric. Even marginal increases in attention improve brand outcomes significantly. We found from the report that even a 5% increase in attention improved your brand recall by 4% and improved brand favorability by as much as 12%. The second thing that we found was attention significantly improves on current traditional metrics that advertisers and agencies are using. Typically, agencies and advertisers use metrics like view-through rates, and attention improves the ability to predict outcomes by 4 to 8x over the current traditional metrics. The third thing that we found was that there are levers that advertisers can use to improve attention. And these levers span across things like platform that they're using, formats they're using, and the creative that they're using as well. And specifically, when we look at Gen Z, we were finding that Gen Z typically are paying less attention today on traditional digital channels. But if you use the levers that we have identified in this study across the right platform, right format, and right creative, you can increase attention for Gen Z by as much as 22%. So one of the specific examples I can give to you is that we found that a combination of immersive full screen video along with the lenses improves attention significantly for Gen Z. So if advertisers take those learnings on, they can win attention for this important cohort as well.
That's very insightful. Now, in what ways do you think that attention can become a sort of currency for brand building? And how can businesses sort of incorporate that in their budget now?
What this study shows for advertisers is that they need to pay attention to attention. The ability for advertisers to optimize for attention increases their ability to capture more relevant consumer engagement and improve brand metrics, like improve their ability to cut through across the audiences, improve the favorability and love the audiences have for their brand as well. And to enable advertisers to make or integrate into their planning ecosystem, we have also talked about 2 metrics that they can use that help them compare attention outcomes across different formats, platforms, creatives. The first metric is APM, or attention per mil. It talks about the number of people who are paying attention, the amount of attention they're paying on your content. And the second metric that we have introduced is cost per APM, which provides the efficiency to advertisers for the APM metric. Now, using these 2 metrics, advertisers can bring transparency to the amount of attention they're getting from their media plans, and also optimize by making relevant choices of where they're getting more attention to improve the outcomes that they're getting.
Now, Amit, our show is basically a show that entails a growth story of MSMEs and smaller businesses. So can you tell us, how does this Attention Advantage report sort of benefit them in the longer run?
All marketers care about 2 very important things from their advertising. The first one is the advertising creating true engagement? And finally, is it leading to better outcomes for their business and better return on ad spend? This attention report answers these things very emphatically. It provides advertisers with a clear understanding of how attention leads to outcomes. I talked about earlier that even marginal increases in attention improve brands' ability to create a better recall, better favorability. Lumen studies have also shown that attention is a great predictor for profitability.
Perfect. Now, could you help me understand how can businesses sort of cater to Gen Z when it comes to grabbing their attention, who are so like equipped in filtering content, swiping as quickly as possible? So how does one entail that consumer base in their portfolio?
I'm a father of 2 teenagers, so I can empathize with this question as well. I can understand how difficult it is to capture attention for Gen Zs. Gen Zs have grown up with mobile, with them always on, right? So they're spending a lot of time on mobile, they're digitally native, and their expectations are evolving as well. They expect platforms, formats, content, which allows them to engage authentically, have immersive experiences, have real connections. And brands who are able to transition towards this and make the attempt to cater to Gen Z's expectations win with Gen Z's as well. And attention is a great way for advertisers to move towards this, because the levers that we have found for attention work better with Gen Z as well. If advertisers take the advantage of immersive content, for example, it engages Gen Zs more authentically and they're able to capture attention as well. One of the studies that we had done with BCG, for example, showed that 77% of Gen Zs prefer immersive content when they're receiving content from brands. So these are the kind of learnings that brands can take to engage and win with Gen Z.
Finally, as digital and social media marketing continues to evolve, what do you see the future looking like?
We see 3 trends shaping the future. The first trend is real attention and engagement. We believe as marketers unravel and capture this challenge with attention and the ability to grasp attention across audiences, marketers will start transitioning towards platforms, formats, and creative choices that help them garner real engagement and authentic attention. The second thing we think is this whole transition towards the creative technologies that are more immersive and authentic. It will move away from just being about an ad to creating immersive experiences. And these experiences already create more impact than traditional ways of doing advertising. And the third thing is going to be this whole generational shift towards Gen Z. It's a large cohort today, one of the largest cohorts we have in India at 377 million, with sizable spending power and even more humongous future spending power. And as advertisers transition towards thinking about winning with Gen Z, they will need to evolve their marketing and media strategies to win with Gen Z as well.
Perfect, Amit. Thank you so much for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you, Hrishita. Great to be here.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 13. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.